So when we deploy some virtual machines, when we deploy EC2 instances, we are not deploying them just for the sake of deploying. We usually installing something onto our EC2 instances. And in case of virtual machines, in case of cloud, this is usually web servers. So what is web server? A web server is something, is some piece of software that is running on your computer, that is running on your machine, and serving some web page. So whenever you open something in the browser, you are connecting to the web server. And essentially, we can simplify entire deal of cloud and DevOps engineering and all these modern worlds towards simple definition, supporting, maintaining web servers and applications running on these web servers. This is basically what internet is made of. Web servers, pages running on these web servers. So let's go ahead, check our instances. Why it is saying that we have no instances? This is interesting. Let's check. Let me double check my code. Yes, instance public variables. Wrong region. Okay. I switch to my different region. I have two instances. This one should be renamed, but never mind. Here is our IP address. So let's SSH to it. SSH EC2 user at, yeah, and it is not working. Just a second, let me fix my IP address. So probably you remember that in our code we've defined, and all of you defined, these IP address, yeah. And for these demos, not to expose my public IP to everyone, because recordings are public, I hide my IP address using VPN. So yeah, let me start it up. I will obtain hopefully the same IP address. Otherwise, I'll change new one that will be assigned to me. And yeah, after that, we'll move forward and have a look what will go next. Okay, it gave me a different IP. Let me edit it real quick. 144.115.43. That's not my real IP. Don't try to hack me. And run Terraform apply. Yes. And let's SSH one more time. This time it allowed us to do so. Oh, I forgot to add my SSH key. Let me start SSH agent, add a key into it, and SSH one more time. Second. 6 yum roll. Yeah, it has a key. Why then I'm not able to connect? That's interesting.
Do you need to pass on -a at the end?
No, I don't need to pass -a. It will work both with a without a. A means agent forwarding, means forward the key that I'm using. Let me restart it once again. 1 second. Maybe that's the different key. Let me destroy everything and run again in the very initial region. So yeah, if I remember correctly, previous class we created instances, but we did not test SSH connection to them. And most likely that's because that's just me not organized. Probably I have created two keys with the same name in different regions, but private key, even though name is the same, will be different. And this means even if we create key named .main in one region and key named .main in another region, we should kind of match our private keys. US East 1. And let's run Terraform apply one more time. That's extremely interesting. I don't even understand. Let me recreate the key. Yeah. Thank you for the hint. Yeah, very good. Full. Finally, fingers crossed. Yeah. So sorry. It was a hectic day for me, and I excuse me not being very well organized. Okay. So we have a server once again, but the server itself, just SSHing into the server, does not give any value, and each virtual machine that we launched, each computer serves some purpose. And the purpose of this server will be to host web pages. So this means we need to install some software This means we need to install web server. And there are very simple commands for that. First, we'll run the update of our repository data. We need to run everything with sudo. Also, we will install the software package called HTTPD, which essentially means Apache Web Server. And let's never forget sudo. And we need to start HTTPD and enable HTTP. Okay. Now I will go ahead and then create a new branch. Let's never forget this. But before we do this, I'll finish applying. For some reason, NAT gateway did not create it properly. And while it is applying, I will add one more ingress security group. Let's call it HTTP on public. I will open port 80. And since HTTP is kind of like, let's pretend we have a user-facing app. So let's add this HTTP for everyone. All clients from our internet will be able to connect to our web page. Let's wait until it finishes creating this NAT gateway, and we'll run apply again so that security group rule is changed, and then I'll demonstrate you what has happened. And in the meantime, there is a raised hand. Yes, Ramraj.
Vladimir, you changed the provider.tf, but you did not commit.
Yes, that's right. I will commit everything into this branch. I remember that. But anyways, thank you for reminding.
Yeah. I've had a hard time, so that's why I was just giving you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very cool. It finished created. It finished creating. Let me remind, we have added this configuration that will open port 80 to everywhere. Let's run Terraform apply again. Here is our change. It says it will add one more ingress rule. Hit yes. Yeah, security group opened significantly faster. And now we can open this IP address on port 80 in our web browser. And we'll see default Apache welcome page. But like if we were to configure everything manually every time we start a new virtual machine, that could have like taken ages for us to configure everything. And if, for example, to support, I don't know, Black Friday sale and scale and create like hundreds or maybe of thousands virtual machines, we like spend like days, maybe weeks creating and repeating these commands. And obviously, we're all humans, we make mistakes. This means we must somehow automate the process of installing like anything that run within our virtual machines. And here is where a feature called user data comes into play. So let me real quick commit my previous changes. And what I will do is I get back to my code editor and add one more file, call it userdata.sh. It's a bash script, and what it will have is basically same commands that we have run on our instance, but as a single file. Absolutely identical. Update, install HTTPD, and start and enable it as a service. And there is a feature in our virtual machines which is called user data. It can be passed as a parameter. And what it means is that anytime we pass something to this parameter as a file, it will be executed on this web server. File user data.sh. So this is also a function similar to length, but what it is doing is that it is taking the path to the file that we want to use. In our case, that's the one, reading it and forwarding it to whatever we would like. In our case, that's user data. So what it means is that this script will always run on the startup of AWS instance public. So let me type in a file name. Thank you very much for noticing that. User, yeah, otherwise we could have another rounds of painful debugging. Thank you very much. That's extremely appreciated. Let's make sure we have it typed correctly. User data. Okay. So Let's do this. Let's comment out this for a second and run Terraform apply. So we have it. We have this instance destroyed first. Question in the chat. We don't have to run the commands as sudo. In case of user data, no. User data script itself runs on behalf of sudo, so there is no need to repeat sudo twice. And Sanjeev, I see you have a hand raised. You do have a question?
Yes, Vladimir. Quick question. So this is just your explanation being provided here to install Apache web server. We understand that as an example, but in the real world use cases, right? Typically, we can have the software installed in the AMI, right, and then spin up the AMI, including the web
Yeah,
server.
we
So,
can do both.
so any other use
Yeah.
cases where user data is like commonly used in the real world scenarios?
Basically, yes, of course. So user data allows you flexibility. So this means when you need to change something, you just change the line and restart. While in AMI, you'll have to change this line, recreate your AMI, and restart from the AMI. So AMI is faster deployment but less flexibility. User data is more flexibility but a longer deployment, since every time we start an instance, the script should run.
Okay. Can I ask?
Well, let's move forward, and please save this question for a little later, please. Okay, we'll save it, and let's then we no longer have this AP available. Yeah, it's just spinning. Let's run Terraform apply again. Okay, very cool. This will have a new instance. This one, 5D87, was, we can see that it's terminated. We have new one with a new IP. Let's copy it and see what will be there. Here we are, automatically, without having to SSH again into this new instance, without having to manually run any commands. We have launched our web server with our and served this web page. So, but what should we do if something goes wrong? Yeah, we can easily debug our user data script and see its output by checking the following file. Let me show it to you. The file is var log cloud-init output.log. And what you will see is some cloud init related things, but this aren't it looks familiar. It's an output of our yum update command that we had in our script. And We see dependencies resolving, installing, so on and so forth. Installed dependencies, again install. It says created symlink, exactly what we have received when we run it manually. So whenever, for some reason, user data does not behave as you expect, check this file. That's your output. That's every error, every message that you'll receive during the instance bootstrap will be written to this file. Very important. Remember this. Use this life hack, and you'll never have problems with your user data again. Okay. So let's push it. Let's create pull request. And this will be our first task for today. I am reviewing everything. Let's make sure we formatted everything properly. We'll create a pull request. And let's merge it. Very good. So as a second task for today, I suggest that we install something interesting. Let's say web-based game. Let's imagine we are a gaming company, and let's deploy some open source browser game and put it on our instance. I'll check out main. I will pull. There is a cool game called 248. Perhaps you heard about it. Otherwise, perfect game, the perfect time to familiarize yourself with it. How to install it? Very simple. It is nothing but set of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files which are hosted using the web server. And this web server is Apache. So it is, you can find it on GitHub, source code of this game. Here it is. Here's how it will look like, and let's install it. So what we'll do is go to our user data. We will add also Git, because we need to fetch the source code of this game using git clone. We'll clone this repository and copy some source file from this folder that we've cloned into our Apache folder. So regarding this Apache folder, let me explain to you. Whatever we put into here, whatever HTML files we put here, will be served from our web server. So if we, where is my SSH? Let's read it to you. If we, for example, write welcome to the class into this index.html and restart Apache, we will check our web page one more time, and instead of simple text, it will show us content of this file. So basically, when we put where it was, and here you will see same index.html, but obviously slightly more complicated. And by running this command, we will again clone this repository. It will be cloned into the folder 248, and we'll move everything, including directories and subdirectories, into var www.html. And basically, this will enable our web-based game and install it. That's the simplest automated deployment of a web application. And let me see if changing user data will force recreating of our instance. No, it did not. What can we do? Yeah, previously we have commented it out and returned, deleted and recreated, but we don't have to do this all the time. There is a special command called Terraform taint. And what Terraform taint is doing is that it's telling Terraform, next time you run apply, please delete this resource and create a new one. Basically like delete and recreate. Same way if we were to comment it out and give it back. It was instance. And again, my mistypes, I'm sorry for that. Okay, it says resource is tainted, and when we run Terraform apply one more time, it will say that it will delete and recreate this public instance that we have. Here it is. And the reason for deletion, it will say AWS instance is tainted, so it will be replaced. But if we, for example, change our mind, we can run Terraform. We can run Terraform untainted, and it will cancel this operation and return everything to the original state. And if we run Terraform apply once again, right now, it will say that nothing else to change, all good. That's Terraform taint one more time, and this time apply and hit yes. Yeah, Vitor, you have a question, feel free.
Hi, Vladimir. No, I was about to ask about the taint command, but I just found in the documentation, I was about to ask if the command wasn't deprecated and replaced by the Terraform apply - replace command, but I just confirmed it in the documentation. That's it.
So is it sorry, I'm confused a little. So is it? Yeah, it says it's deprecated. Very good.
Yeah, it still works, but it's deprecated.
Yeah, I see this warning as well. Yeah, very good. Good catch. So yeah, it's deprecated since version 0.15. It's still there. Probably yes. Sometime in the future they'll remove it. But yeah, at least for now, it's still usable. And the syntax would be Terraform apply minus replace equals AWS instance dot public. It will do probably similar thing. Let's try. Very interesting thing about giving lectures is, hold on a second. No, it did not. Maybe without a quote.
there is a typo. Instance.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. AWS instance public. Yeah, exactly the same. Will it say? Yeah, and it's not saying that it's tainted. It's saying it will be replaced. Yeah, very interesting. Very cool. Yeah, and what I wanted to say, what I like about doing classes is not the fact that I'm giving others opportunity to learn, but also very often there is something that I learn for myself by doing this, by repeating these exercises, and by getting this feedback. And thank you very much, Vitor. Okay, so but looks like we were too busy and I forgot to save this file. This means we need to run Terraform apply replace or Terraform taint and run Terraform apply one more time. Yes, Sanjeev.
Yeah, I mean, is there any other way, Vladimir, like if you have some important data on your instance, if you simply, I mean, want to make small changes, so without recreating it, I mean, you just have to do in place, right? Go log in and then make the changes, bounce the service.
If you have the case where you have stateful instance, right? Means instance that stores some important data on the hard drive.
Right.
I'd rather use user data to install tools such as Ansible, for example, or any other configuration management tool, and continue managing using Ansible in a centralized way.
So Terraform is only initial provisioning and then use config management later on.
Yeah, so Terraform and user data works perfectly when you have stateless things. But in case of stateful, you still use Terraform, but like, yeah, you will install Ansible and you have this combination of Terraform and Ansible, for example, or any other config management tool. But like overall strategy might be that you, for example, move your data to, for example, network file system, like, for example, EFS. Sometimes this will work. Or perhaps you should consider storing this data in a database. There are different configuration options, and we'll explore some of them later down the road.
Thanks, Vladimir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, we've changed our instance, and let's get back to the to here. Most likely it has changed the IP address. Yes, we have a new IP. Yeah, we have a new IP address since previous one was deleted together with the instance. And there we have it. This is the game that we've deployed on our web server. Now we can make millions from it by selling it to someone else. Congratulations. Let's commit everything. We will push. We will create a pull request. And never forget to destroy once you're done, once you no longer study for today. Yeah, today was slightly faster. It took only 40 minutes, but we can spend remaining time discussing. I can answer any questions. I see Piyush has a hand raised. Piyush?
Yeah, hi. This stand command is like